Okay, so if you're a leader, you know your team is using AI. The real question is, are they just kind of playing around with it, or are they actually building a real competitive advantage? Think of this as your playbook to get from novelty to true necessity. We're going to move way beyond the basics and get right into a scalable strategy.
Let's just be honest for a second. You've got these incredibly powerful AI tools at your fingertips, but the results your team is getting are, well, they're underwhelming, right? They're generic, a little bit off, and definitely not the game changer you were promised. So what is going wrong here?
Because the potential is absolutely massive. Now check this out. This data comes from a huge study by BCG and Wharton. They found that on average, work quality shot up by 40% with AI. But here's the really wild part. Lower performing team members saw their quality jump by a staggering 43%. This tool has the power to elevate your entire team. So what's causing this massive disconnect between what's possible and what's actually happening?
Well, it's because most people fall right into what's called the trough of disillusionment. They get a few bad outputs, they get frustrated, they decide it's just faster to do it the old way, and then they give up. But the crucial thing to realize is this. The solution isn't a better AI tool. It's a better framework for using the one you already have. So how do you lead your team out of that trough? You give them a map. And this framework, these 4 levels of AI proficiency, this is that map. It's going to help you figure out exactly where your team is getting stuck and give you the clear path forward to unlock some real value. All right, level 101, tool basics. This is where everybody starts, and frankly, it's where most corporate training just stops. People at this level treat AI like a magic wand. They give it these simple little commands with almost no context, which of course leads to those generic results we were talking about. And that brings us to the most critical stage of all, level 201. Applied judgment. This right here is the missing middle of AI skill. And listen, this isn't about writing fancier prompts. It is a management skill. It's about learning how to manage the tool to get reliable, high-quality work. This is the gap that you as a leader need to help your team bridge.
This brings us to the 301 level organizational strategy. Now, if you're a leader, this is your home turf. Your job isn't just to be good at AI yourself. Your real job is to build the systems, the processes, and the culture that scales that 201 level skill across your entire organization.
And then finally, you've got the 401 level. This is the builder role. These are your engineers, the folks working with APIs, fine-tuning models, building custom stuff. It's a totally vital role for sure, but it is fundamentally different from the strategic leadership role that you play at the 301 level. And understanding that difference is absolutely key to explaining your own value.
Okay, so let's get practical. As a 301 leader, your number one job is to get your team to that 201 level of applied judgment. So how do you actually train them to master this missing middle?
It all starts with one single, powerful mental shift. You have to teach your team to stop treating AI like a magic vending machine and start treating it like a very capable but very inexperienced intern. It's fast, it's eager, but it needs clear direction. It needs good source material, and you absolutely have to check its work. And managing that intern isn't just a vibe. It requires a specific set of skills you can teach. We're talking about things like context assembly, knowing how to pick the right information to give the AI, task decomposition, breaking a huge project down into bite-sized, AI-friendly steps, iterative refinement, that skill of guiding a 70% first draft to a 95% final product. But maybe the 2 most important are quality judgment, knowing when an output is brilliant versus when it's just confidently wrong, and frontier recognition, knowing the exact point where the AI stops being useful for your specific domain. Now, as your team starts to really get the hang of managing their AI intern, you're going to see 2 main ways of working start to emerge. The first is the Centaur workflow. This is like a handoff. The human sets the task, the AI does the work, the human checks the result. Then you have the cyborg. This is a constant back and forth, a seamless conversation where you and the AI are building on each other's ideas in real time. Neither one is better than the other. They're just different, powerful ways to get work done. So why is this 201 level training so ridiculously important? Let's just go back to that data for a second. That 43% quality improvement for your bottom half performers, that is a direct result of applied judgment. This isn't just some nice-to-have skill, it is a strategic lever for dramatically raising the average output of your entire team. Okay, so you have a plan to get your team trained up. Now let's talk about you. How do you, as a 301 leader, prove your own value to your leadership? Because it's about so much more than just running a training session.
Here is your playbook. First, permission leadership. This means moving your organization from just saying no to AI to providing clear, safe guidelines for how to use it. Second, frontier mapping, systematically going through and identifying where AI creates the most value and, just as important, where it fails. And third, knowledge management. You have to build systems to share what works so that everybody in the organization learns faster.
So here's the bottom line. When you're explaining your value, this quote right here is your foundation. See, AI behaves more like a person than a piece of predictable software. And that is exactly why your best managers, people with those 201 and 301 level skills, should be leading the charge, not necessarily your most technical 401 level engineers. And if you need a single hard data point to make the case for investing in all of this, here you go. Research shows that employees who get more than 5 hours of formal, structured training are way more likely to become regular, productive AI users. Think of it as the 5-hour rule. It proves that just dabbling isn't enough. You need strategic, intentional training.
But your job as a 301 leader doesn't end once your team hits that 201 proficiency level. Not even close. In fact, that's when the real strategic work begins, navigating the long-term future of an AI-augmented team. One of the biggest long-term risks you need to start thinking about now is what you could call the artificial hive mind. If everyone becomes over-reliant on the same AI tools, you risk getting homogenized strategies and ideas, which can actually erode your company's unique competitive edge. Your job is to make sure AI is used to amplify human creativity, not replace it. And that all leads to the ultimate strategic question that you are responsible for answering. Think about it. All that grunt work that AI is starting to automate, that's how junior employees have always learned the ropes and developed their judgment. So how are you going to redesign work to make sure the next generation of leaders can still grow into experts? Solving that is the true mark of a 301 level leader.